The ICC says its new World Cup format will create more meaningful contests, elevate competitive standards, and provide a better experience for players and fans. But that announcement has already sparked quite a mostly negative reaction. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cricket Capital. This is Faisal Hussain. Now, today we are beginning a short series examining a kind of controversial move by the ICC, the new format for the 2027 ICC Men's ODI Cricket World Cup that will be played in October 27 in South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Namibia. But before we can consider both sides of the story, we first need to understand exactly what has changed, and that is what today's episode covers. And over the coming weeks, we'll review some reactions from the World Cricketers Association, the associate countries, cricket writers and journalists, and then I'll give you my own assessment. But today, this episode is simply about understanding what the ICC has changed and why it has made those changes, with a few comments here and there. And let me make one thing absolutely clear. The members of the ICC are perfectly entitled to change the format of their own tournaments. Every governing body reviews its competitions, and the debate is whether this particular format is the right one and achieves the set objectives. Okay, so let's start. Now, to start reviewing the new format, let's first look at the previous format, which was relatively straightforward. Now, under the previous format, the full member host countries would qualify automatically. There were 14 teams divided into two groups of 7. Each team would play the other 6 teams in their group, and the top 3 teams from each group would then progress to the Super Sixes. And the top 2 teams from each Super Six would then progress to the semis and then on to the final. Relatively simple and easy to understand, and very few, if any, had any major issues with this structure. Having said that, the one observation that I have is that perhaps the number of teams should be increased to 16, so that there are at least 4 associates playing, which would be great. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. So, 14 teams, and based on the current ODI rankings and assuming that qualification goes according to form, those 14 teams today would be South Africa and Zimbabwe as hosts, India, New Zealand, Australia, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, England, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, West Indies, Ireland, Netherlands, and Scotland, which means 12 full members and 2 associates, namely Netherlands and Scotland. And importantly, each one of those 14 teams would fully participate in the tournament. Fully participate. Then comes July 2026, and the ICC board approves a new format for the 2027 World Cup. Now, the ICC headline remains the same, that still 14 teams will play, no change. But the route to becoming ODI World Champions has changed quite significantly. Now, let's look at how the new structure works. So the ICC says that it's a 14-team event. But is it? Or is it actually a 12-team event presented to us as a 14-team event? So are we being sold a box labeled 14 apples only to find 12 when we open it? Let's see. Okay, so to start, as previously, South Africa and Zimbabwe will qualify as full member hosts. Namibia doesn't qualify directly as it's not a full member. Then a further 8 teams will qualify directly based on their rankings on 30th September 26. So that makes it 10 teams. And if today's rankings stay, then the following 10 teams will qualify automatically. South Africa and Zimbabwe as hosts, India, New Zealand, Australia, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, England, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. After which there is a qualification pathway structure from which 4 teams will join the 10, making it a 14-team shortlist. And if things go according to form, those 4 teams will be West Indies, Ireland, Netherlands, and Scotland. And out of these 4, only one will qualify directly into the main event and join the 10 already there. And say that's the West Indies. And the remaining 3, Ireland, Netherlands, and Scotland, will first compete in what the ICC calls the Super Series. Now, each of these 3 teams, Ireland, Netherlands, and Scotland, will play the other 2 in a 3-team round robin, a total of 2 matches each. And only the top 1 team will remain in the tournament, and the other 2 teams will go home after playing just 2 matches. And for our example, let's say that the highest ranked team qualifies, which is Ireland, and so Ireland then joins the 11 teams in the main competition. So now the final 12 teams that qualify for the World Cup are South Africa and Zimbabwe as hosts, India, New Zealand, Australia, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, England, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, West Indies, and Ireland. And then the 12-team main tournament actually starts. 12 teams, not 14 teams. And how many associates are there in our ranking-based example? None. So instead of guaranteeing the associates places in the main event, and let alone increasing those places, we are taking away the 2 currently guaranteed places. Wow, what a message to the developing cricket world. Okay, now those 12 teams will be divided into 2 groups of 6, and each team will play the other 5 teams in its group. And from there, the competition moves into an entirely new phase called the Super 7. And the top 3 teams from each group, together with the next best overall performing team, will qualify for an entirely new phase called the Super 7. Those 7 teams will then compete to determine the 4 semi-finalists, and the semi-final winners will contest the World Cup final. Okay, so I've covered the previous 14-team format and the new 14-team or 12-team format, depending how you want to look at this. And compared to previously, the 2 teams that will lose out are Netherlands and Scotland, who will pack their bags after just 2 games, one against each other and one against Ireland, and then go home and watch the event on TV. Okay, now let's look at what the ICC is saying. The ICC describes the World Cup as becoming a 3-stage competition: the qualifiers, the group matches, and the Super Sevens, which is designed to increase context, competitiveness, and consequences from the opening match through to the final. And according to the ICC media release, the objective of these changes is to enhance consequence at the early stage, to evolve and enhance the marquee stature of its global events, to create more meaningful contests, to elevate competitive standards, to strengthen the competitive structure, to enhance the tournament experience for athletes and fans, to deliver a more compelling tournament for athletes and fans, to create greater context, competitiveness, and consequences during the event, to ensure meaningful competition, to strengthen the competitive narrative for matches to carry higher consequences, to have a highly competitive Super 7, to have increased consequences, to enhance competitive intensity, to enhance the overall experience for fans. Now, all this is from the ICC media release, and I guess you may think that I'm repeating myself and saying the same thing over and over again, and I am, because that's what the ICC media release is saying. It keeps driving home how great this new format is. And then finally, the ICC says that this will continue to provide emerging teams with the opportunity to compete on cricket's biggest stage. Let me repeat that. the ICC says that this will continue to provide emerging teams with the opportunity to compete on cricket's biggest stage. Wow! And in our example, based on if things happen according to rankings and form, how many emerging teams will there be in the main event? None. So I guess that the associates will compete and participate, as you and I will, by watching the matches on TV and by playing the World Cup on Sony PlayStation. Now, the ICC media release says that these recommendations were approved by the ICC board, which includes 3 representatives from the associate members, such as Scotland and Netherlands. Now, I wonder how those 3 associate reps voted. That would be interesting to know. And whether you agree with the ICC's decisions or not, understanding the rationale and structure is a good first step towards an informed opinion. So I now understand how this new format works. But the question I still have is whether these changes really achieve the objectives the ICC has set itself. And that's what we'll begin exploring in the next episode. And in our next episode, we'll examine the reaction from the World Cricketers Association. Okay? So if you've enjoyed today's episode, please do give it a like, do subscribe to Cricket Capital and click the notification bell so you don't miss future episodes. Look, I'd also love to hear your views on what you think of this new cricket world format. And also, look, if 14 teams qualify for a World Cup, shouldn't all 14 teams be guaranteed meaningful World Cup matches? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so class dismissed, but only for today. This is Faisal Hasnain on Cricket Capital, and I'll see you soon.